Hey, welcome to Coach's Corner podcast, everybody. Thanks for watching the show. I'm your host, Coach Tripp, along with my buddy, Coach Hobbs.
How you doing? Peace.
Coach Mark Hobley coached and taught at PHS for many, many years, and he does local sports with me. Special guest today, Ray Palmer, Executive CEO and President of Pensacola Sports. 25 years, Ray. I know you're going to retire this year in September. I just wanted to say thank you so much for what you've done for the thousands of players, coaches, parents, and just sports fans like us now.
Community.
Yeah, yes, for this community. Thanks so much, Ray.
It's been an honor.
Wow. For y'all that don't know, Pensacola Sports is all about sports tourism, Florida's first and actually oldest sports organization and management group, and the area leader in amateur and professional participant sports, event management, marketing, promotions, Pensacola and Northwest Florida. The history dates back to 1955 when they led efforts to manage local and national golf tournaments right here in Pensacola. And since then, it's reached out to encompass more than golf, 25,000 people across a variety of sports, events, activities, initiatives, including baseball, basketball, football, running, soccer, tennis, and much more. Wow, Ray, I don't know where to start, but Pensacola Sports is dedicated to the quality of life and well-being. How did you get involved in Pensacola Sports 25 years ago?
Well, thanks, Coach. The reality is I actually was probably initially introduced to Pensacola Sports when I was a child. I don't know exactly the year because I was probably too young, but I remember going to the Pensacola Sports Association, had their annual banquet, which is what we just hosted Tuesday night when I saw you. I went with my father to see Johnny Unitas. And I was a huge, maybe I wasn't a Johnny Unitas fan until I got there. But yeah. I was ultimately a huge Johnny Unitas had a poster on my wall, and I'm sure it was all driven probably. And I would guess, I know I wasn't maybe 10, and my brother a couple of 3 years older than I was, but I'm sure it was in the 60s. And my dad was part of Pensacola Sports Association back in those days. And sports was always something that just, I was never, I was a good high school athlete. That's it. But sports just always hit with me, the value of sport and the lessons in sport. And it always hit with me. And so, I ended up being on a little bit later. I worked in my family's shipyard industry as my first 14, 15 years of my adulthood, and then ended up on the Pensacola Sports Board when I got out of the shipyard, when we sold the shipyard. And I wanted to be back involved in the community, and Pensacola Sports was a natural place. I was on the board of directors, doing marketing and advertising type sales. And Shirley Conley, who was at that time the executive director, announced her retirement. And I had said to Shirley, someday, Shirley, I'd like to be the board chairman of this organization. This place is pretty cool, and y'all are doing really neat stuff. And she resigned unexpectedly to those of us, somewhat unexpectedly. And of course, here we were Thursday night, and she's sitting in the audience, and she's still a part of Pensacola Sports and our banquet. She's very much an integral part of that banquet. And I threw my name in the hat as unexpectedly as possible, and lucky me, they picked me. To be 24 years ago on Sunday. And well, not when they picked me. Now, March 2nd would have been I started March 2nd, 2002 was my first day.
Wow. We're going to talk about some of the events and everything that has happened in Pensacola Sports and what you're involved in. But a couple of things you talked about, and I wanted to touch base on. Number one, your dad influence. Mark and I, both our dads were, really, really heroes to us. And I think that, we're losing some of that, so we need to get it back. Sports transcend all sorts of things: race, religion, social status, politics. I think it's a transformational thing when you get into sports. They don't care, who you are. The best player and the best team wins, and that does it transcends a lot of things. I mean, I remember a couple Olympics ago where North Korea and South Korea actually came together as one Olympic team, and if they can do it, anybody can. Is that what you've seen? Sports transcends boundaries.
Oh, 100%. And it's not even the best team that wins. Sometimes the best team doesn't win, but yet it's how you handle it and with your teammates, and how, or maybe if it's an individual sport. I grew up playing basketball, my number one love and passion, but I also grew up playing a lot of tennis, an individual sport, completely different sport. And how you handle the result of sport, and how do you relate in a business sense, making teamwork to make your team better, and the discipline of coming to practices and understanding that, you know what, I'll tell you a quick story. I'm coaching my 2 7-year-old grandsons in basketball, and I was hoping when we first started, after the first practice, I was hoping that we would score. And I was not the only coach that said, "Wow, I hope we score this year." And I'm happy to report that we have scored at least a basket every game. Now, we were up 5-0 the other day, and we ended up losing, I think, 22-5. But we had one of my little players, little girl, and we had a kind of a mix up with the referee and stuff, and he switched ends on us, and she shot at the wrong basket and made it. She was devastated. But, we talked through a lot of, it didn't matter. It did not matter that she had shot in the wrong goal, because she had succeeded. And she was one of the few players I had with much experience. But it's a lesson learned for her to understand that mistakes happen, and sports are just part of life, and they are a life lesson, and to embrace those and, try and get better every day.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The athletes are leaders of in the military as well. I've talked to a couple military special forces officers, and they say they get a lot of their candidates from athletes in high school. So I hope that doesn't go down much. Let's talk about some of the events. And I want you to highlight, maybe tell a story, Ray, about like maybe one of these events. I don't know how many double bridge runs you had, the All-Star Series, Pensacola Beach Firefighters Challenge, Senior Scholar Athlete Awards, which you're at, DeLuna's Open Water Swim, Racket Roundup in tennis, your relationship with Roger Scott. I know you have so many memories, but maybe a couple events or a couple stories from kids that really overachieved.
Well, even overachieved. I'll tell 2 better stories that have to do with, I can't remember, I don't remember them all. They run together. 2 high school all-star football games. One was, I think it was the first year, we had a Washington High offensive lineman and a Gulf Breeze defensive lineman, and they didn't like each other. At least they didn't know each other. They didn't like each other. Well, the first year they ended up, the way we had it structured, they ended up on the same team. Not only did they learn that, you know what, that dude's a pretty good guy, they both went off to Huntington College, overachievers, Huntington College, played together, roomed together.
Wow.
And became great friends.
Oh my God, that's a great story.
So we had another occasion, and I'm going to mess up one name. We had Graham Gano, who was a phenomenal punter at Tate High School, and Graham had signed a scholarship with Florida State. And there was a young boy from Milton who was also a kicker, Zach. And I can't remember Zach's name. And Graham came to me at one of the early practices of the football game, and he said, "Mr. Palmer, I have a favor to ask." He said, and I already have my scholarship. Is it okay if I don't kick in the game and you let me just work? Because we knew we were going to have scouts at the game. You let me work with Zach because he's borderline being signed by Auburn, and I want him to have a chance to kick some more. And he sat and worked with Zach. And sure enough, Zach ended up getting signed by a scholarship to Auburn to be a kicker. Now, is that a great story of what sport can do for relationships? Unbelievable. Two of my favorite stories.
Unbelievable. You don't see that much. Graham Gano is a giver. He's not a taker. You know, Coach Bryant used to say there's givers and takers.
And Graham ended up kicking in the NFL for years and years.
Long time. Yeah. His dad was a military officer in the Navy. I think Master Sergeant. So what a beautiful story about being other-centered, man. And sports does that. As a great teammate. No wonder he lasted 12, 14 years in the league. You know, he was a great teammate. He was a great kicker, too. Greg Wibbs Jr. was a great kicker from here that went on to Troy.
Absolutely.
We've had Corliss Williamson is punting in the NFL right now from Milton. Mm-hmm. We've had a lot of great kickers for some reason. I don't know why, we're not. You know, we've had a lot of great.
I keep telling my 9-year-old little grandson that, you know what, I saw you look at Justin Gatlin the other day, and he said, "Pappy, that's the fastest man in the world." I said, "Well, not anymore, but he was." And I keep telling him, kick that football. He loves soccer.
You ain't going to be the fastest man in the world, brother.
He's going to be a little. You're not going to be the fastest guy in the world. No. You're not going to be big, and so learn to kick that football.
Yeah, I had to go to football. I love the Olympics so much, and the hockey was just unbelievable because I played hockey for 8 years, and my brother played college hockey, and the competitiveness is second to none. Let's talk about some of these Hall of Famers. I coached against Dougie Baldwin. You mentioned Justin Gatlin, the fastest man in the world, the last guy ever to beat Usain Bolt, and David Williamson. Let's start with Justin first. He was the fastest man in the world. He is a great guy. I saw him the other night. He said he's going to come back and spend more time in Pensacola. But boy, what a career! What a career of persistence for him. You know, when he got suspended for 3-4 years, but man. I think it's long overdue that he's inducted into the Hall of Fame. And how do you guys vote on that? Talk a little bit about Justin, the character of him.
Well, I've had the pleasure of knowing Justin and his family since his early days of success, and I truly admired him. I knew him when he was going through the traumas that he was going through and the challenges that he went through, and his mother and I and father have been close, and we've reached out a lot of times. And he's special, and I look forward to the things he told me the other night too, that he's looking forward to really trying to bring back some opportunities for the Pensacola community and giving back. And, that's such an opportunity that, again, sports and athletes bring with success and fandom, or what's the right word, being famous.
Right.
And so he's got opportunities to impact that a lot of people don't. I can't pick up the phone and call the people that Justin Gatlin can call.
Right.
For sure. Well, I can call them. But they're not going to. Yeah, right. I can call a lot of people. And to answer your question, the awards are selected by a full committee who takes applications from the entire community. I don't even sit on the awards committee
Oh, wow.
anymore. I didn't know who was winning awards the other night either. And sometimes I know, and sometimes I don't know. But so, and it's a committee of influencers in the community who really got their ear better to the players and the people who are making an impact in sport probably than I am. I have a tendency to get caught up into the business of sport more than
Right.
to the games. And
Right.
so I don't know who's the best high school baseball player is in our community
Right.
today.
Right.
But there are people out there that do, and those are the ones who get to make those selections.
All right, let's talk Peter Dyson. Him and Downing Gray, my goodness, they just exemplify amateur golf in this country, not just in this area. Talk about his contributions.
Peter's been a dear friend for many, many years. He and I actually were sat on the board together of Pensacola Sports. And, when you talk about, like you said, amateur golf, you really talk two names come, and that's Downing and Peter. That's who are probably the two number one golfers that have made an impact in that world from Pensacola. We've had phenomenal professional golfers, and we know those names. But when you look at the amateur side, it's generally those two who've probably gone the furthest.
Wow. And David Williams, athlete, coach, administrator, and now board member. That's you can call him Slash. He's done a lot for this community, but he got inducted last night as well.
He it can start and stop with a David Williams. I mean, what more could you ask for a former athlete? Quite frankly, I did not realize that he had been drafted into pro. That's how cool that banquet is.
Yeah, it is.
We still learn so much about the inductees. Doug Baldwin's passion for what he's doing now, and that football got him an opportunity to do that. And I know we're still talking about David, but David had the opportunity to make a difference in kids' lives. Now Doug Baldwin has the opportunity to make a difference in kids' lives, and as we talked about, Justin now has an opportunity. He wants to make a difference in kids' lives through the power of sport.
Right.
It's transformational.
All right, let's jump over to Dougie Baldwin a little bit, because I've talked about him on my show at least once every couple months about the quote that I saw in Sports Illustrated years ago. Dougie said, self-assessment and self-evaluation was my engine. That's powerful. A lot of people cannot self-evaluate or do that kind of hard work it takes to get better. But man, let me tell you, Ray, there's tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of 5'9", 170-pound guys running around this country. But he just did the things and smart, he's probably smart and tough. He was super tough with great hands. But what a career he had going to Stanford and playing for, I think, I like the Harbaugh family and playing for Jim Harbaugh. Talk about his career path.
Well, I don't think they let a lot of not smart people in Stanford.
No,
I don't care how good you think you are in football. And Doug overcame so many obstacles, but he was smart, and he was one of those players, from everything I've read and heard, that he was going to outwork everybody. He was going to prove his worth, and I think they even talked about it a little bit the other night. Is he was an underdog in very similar to Emmitt Smith. Emmitt was Emmitt was not big enough, not strong enough, not fast enough, but yet he saw holes in a line, and that nobody, you can't teach.
It's right.
It's just here. And Doug Baldwin had a work ethic that you can't teach. And his daddy stopped me at the banquet the other night and thanked me. I was like, I didn't make Doug, or, what Doug is. Doug made Doug what it is, and you did.
Right.
And so, and his family's leadership.
Wow. Yeah, that's good stuff. Wow, we touched about all of them. And one of my favorite players of all time, Jeremy Reeves, that I coached at Catholic. He's another one. Okay. He wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the fastest, he was, he wasn't the strongest, but he had all the intangibles. And Ray, you probably talked to as many or more professional athletes than I have in 15 years of doing this show. And every time I ask them talent or intangibles, almost inevitably it's a 95-100% sweep on intangibles. And Jeremy has all the intangibles. He's going into his 8th year. I think they're trying to renegotiate his contract now. But yeah, he's become the old man there. They've all come and gone, from Curl to all of those guys. And Jeremy, I said, do they call you Pops now, Jeremy? He says, no, they call me as an uncle.
And what a fun guy he is.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know Jeremy well, but what a respectful, class, fun guy. I bet he's a great teammate. And it's those intangibles. We host a pro tennis event, and we were started with pro golf events. And the intangible, there are a lot of guys that can hit it tee to green or can sit in the baseline especially in individual sports. I don't say that. It's true in all sports. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of really good athletes and really good players that don't ever make it to the top.
Right.
And it's because of that ability to separate themselves in the middle side of the game.
Right.
A lot of
the other ones that are poised. Yeah. Yeah. The poise under pressure, a lot of it is too. All right. A couple more things. Sunbelt tourney coming up. Talk a little bit about the Sunbelt tourney. They signed a new contract, right? For another 5 years.
Yep. We finished our 5th year last year, and we just signed a new 5-year contract that will begin basically next week, Monday. Teams will start showing up Saturday. It is, it's a mid-major Division I basketball. It's phenomenal basketball. It's funny. We talk about, go to JUCO basketball or D2 baseball or D2 basketball or the mid-majors. And you watch and you're like, I don't understand. Why isn't this guy headed to the NBA? Because the skill set is amazing. But sometimes it's half a step too slow or 2 inches too small or whatever. But their ability to play the game and their passion for the game. What really makes the Sun Belt Conference basketball really special in our mind is this tournament matters. No offense to the SEC or the ACC. We love that basketball. I'm a basketball nut. But those guys know, 4, 5, 6 teams, maybe 7 teams are going to get in. Sure. This is one and done. In the Sun Belt Conference, on the men's side, your only chance to make it to March Madness this year is probably going to be if you win that tournament. On the girls' side, we may get 2 teams in. But on the girls' side, so every game matters.
Yeah, every game.
Duke may go to sleep in the first round. They're still getting in the tournament.
Right.
If South Alabama goes to sleep in the first round,
they're done.
You're done.
Yeah. So the intensity level, every game is going to be so high. Every game.
And then throw in the new lighting systems and the sound at the Bay Center and the new seating and the bands and the cheer squads. And the environment, the family environment that were there, it is my favorite week now of this job. And I'm gonna go plop myself down there and find something to do, and I'll be there 100 hours from 10 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night every day.
He's such a big basketball fan. Speaking of basketball,
well, Mr. Palmer, I just left the coffee cup a few minutes ago, and they were already talking about Marshall, the people from Marshall coming in and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So the
Were they in,
economic impact of this tournament here is already being felt.
were they
Okay.
in green?
Well, they weren't in green. They are
Oh.
expecting the people from Marshall to show up.
Oh, yeah. I bet
and
there's some of the hosts.
starting this weekend, they'll be filtering through downtown, and it's all going to climax, I guess, on the next Monday night with the national showing of Pensacola for the Sun Belt Tournament Championship. Thank you for bringing that tournament here.
Yeah.
And what can we expect in the future for some big tournaments? Maybe what might be cooking other than the SEC Women's Championship? What do you guys got going on?
Well, we are always in conversation with conferences around the country. We have a very special relationship, I'm not going to lie to you, with Sun Belt Conference, and they have opportunities, I think, for us going forward with all that they're doing. They have a commissioner who is a star in that world. He's very highly respected. He loves neutral site venues. So, you know, we are always in conversation with him of what more could we do with them and for them, but not just Sun Belt Conference. The SEC has been a great partner through the women's soccer. That is a huge event for us. And we love that relationship with them. But we're excited because the basketball tournament, not only are we the host for the next 5 years, we're also the title sponsor as Visit Pensacola. So we are really going to knock the marketing component of telling the story of Pensacola, you know, across the country, to taking it to a next level this year.
All right.
Wow. Unbelievable. All right. 2 more things. We got Washington and Coach Jade Brown hosting the regional final tomorrow night. She's got a D1 girl. They're heavily loaded, I think, with maybe some upperclassmen, but I think this might be her year. I just wanted to get the word out to everybody. Go out to Washington High School tomorrow night and see some great girls basketball, playoff basketball.
I saw Coach Jake team play a couple of weeks ago against PHS, obviously their biggest rival. Great game. She's such a good coach. And of course, the tradition of Booker T. Washington High School is second to none in our community. And so we only wish them the very best. Encourage all of our community to go out there and cheer. Let's get them all the support they can get.
One last thing, James Curry Volunteer of the Year Award last night. That was the special award. Talk about that recipient.
Well, that's a really emotional one for me because the guy that won that actually has been my friend since 4th grade. And and then we graduated from high school together. He was in my wedding. I was in his wedding. He went off to the Air Force Academy, traveled the world protecting us from bad people in the military for many, many years, moved back a couple of years ago and was like, okay, Ray, I want to get engaged. I'm like, okay, buddy, I know where you're starting. I'm starting you with me and get on my board, and everything that you could have possibly ask for a volunteer, Paco Burrell steps forward and does it every time. And for him to it was really kind of a funny story because we have there's this group of mutual friends. We're planning at his house. My wife and I were classmates of Paco's 50 years ago. It's our 50th high school anniversary. We're going to his house once every month or so to plan it with all our classmates. And so he and I have some very best mutual friends. And so I'm sending his friends. He doesn't know. And I don't know that they're giving me an award. I'm calling his friends and saying, hey, Paco's getting an award. And he's calling, or his wife is calling, and he's calling my friend and saying, hey, Ray's getting an award, doesn't know about it.
Wow.
He gave his girlfriend's wife to his son, so she didn't have a ticket. But she said, no, I want to go because I want to see Ray get an award. Just not knowing that she knew he was getting an award. So, I mean, for this, one of my oldest, longest, and dearest friends, to be awarded the same night that I am on my final awards banquet.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't get any better than that, huh? Congratulations to both of you guys, man. Best friends. And to Paco, tell him Pensacola is really proud of what you've done for this community, right? Thank you again.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, thank you. All right.
Appreciate you, man. We'll see you at the tournament. Hopefully.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good deal. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Ray. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Wow. Ray Palmer, thanks for what you did with this community, man. We had more people like him. We live in a much better place. Thanks for stopping by, Hobbs. Thanks for watching the show, Local Sports Report. Stay tuned for these great messages. Without these sponsors like Sandy Sansing Chevrolet, this just wouldn't be possible. So long, everybody.
Go Cats.
When it comes to buying your next car, truck, or SUV, you need a team that puts you first. Here at the Sandy Sansing dealerships, we're proud to serve Pensacola and the Gulf Coast with the best selection, trusted service, and deals that work for your family. Just like great coaches build great teams, Sandy Sansing builds lasting relationships with every customer who walks through our doors. Because when it comes to finding your next vehicle, there's only one name to remember. Sandy Sansing can.
Arbitrium Consulting for all your fencing, landscaping, pressure washing, tree trimming needs. Call 850-483-0350 for your free estimates. Serving Pensacola, Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, Destin, Perdido, Gulf Shores, Foley, and the entire Gulf Coast. Arbitrium Consulting is owner-operated, fully licensed and insured. Call today, 850-483-0350, the official landscaper of Coach's Corner.
Did you know there's a place where you can get good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates on your home and auto insurance? Yep, and that place is, ta-da, State Farm. Here's the deal. State Farm agent Will Rentschler is your go-to agent in Pensacola, Florida for the service you deserve at the price that you want. So stop shopping around. State Farm agent Will Rentschler has you covered. Call 850-433-4678 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Legal disclaimer, individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Are you riding around in a filthy vehicle? Dirty car no more. Visit Ronnie's Car Wash today to get it shining in no time. They have 3 convenient locations with another coming soon. The unlimited monthly wash packages start as low as $14.95 per month with free vacuums, multi-purpose spray and towels. Visit them in Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, and soon Crestview. Don't wait, wash today. Be sure to see Ronnie's Car Wash on Facebook to see the latest specials and discounts. You'll be riding and shining in no time.
That's you trying to fix the plumbing yourself to save a few bucks. Doing things yourself doesn't always end well. The same goes for insurance. That's why Auto Owners works with local independent agents who tailor coverage to meet your needs and offer discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance. Because sometimes you need a professional to get the job done right. That's simple human sense.